I am 31 years old. Like a lot of people, I have studied English since I was a child. I studied it in school, I wrote it in college exams, and yet, sitting here today, I still cannot honestly say that I have learned the language properly. I am at an age where the stakes are incredibly high. I have mounting family responsibilities and serious financial pressure. To handle that pressure, I need a better professional position, and I urgently need to improve my income. Today, English is a critical survival tool. I need to qualify for a better working environment and communicate with professionals. Knowing rules about a language is completely useless if you cannot actually deploy that language to improve your livelihood. For almost 11 years, my learning journey looked exactly the same. I would start with massive enthusiasm, study intensely for a few days, drop down to once a week, and then completely stop. 6 months would pass like this, and when I finally looked back at my progress, I found myself standing in the exact same place. 0 measurable growth in actual conversation. Curious. At a certain point, I had to stop and ask myself a very harsh question. Am I simply incapable of learning this language, or is there a massive problem with the mechanics of how I am trying to learn it? Failing at the same task for over a decade is rarely a lack of intelligence. It is almost always a symptom of specific, unexamined errors in your methodology. When I audited my own process, I found 9 massive mistakes. Mistake 1 was inconsistency. Because I only sat down with English once a week, I never built a daily connection with it. Every single study session felt like starting completely from scratch. Mistake 2 was a complete lack of strategy. I'd watch a movie one day, memorize vocabulary the next, and read grammar the day after. I consumed random material with 0 unified path, leaving me totally lost on what to learn first or how to practice. This animated diagram shows mistake 3, relying on old learning methods. Mapping a Bangla sentence directly against an English one shows the pronunciation and grammatical structures are completely different. Attempting a direct word translation causes the sentence structure to collapse. I also suffered from unverified learning. I used pronunciations and expressions I thought were correct, simply because well-meaning school teachers had taught them to me years ago. I never realized those flawed habits had become hardwired into my brain. Forcing a new language to obey your native grammar rules and relying on outdated classroom frameworks actively sabotages your ability to acquire the language. Mistake 4 was staying isolated. I hoarded English vocabulary entirely inside my own head. Because I never used those words to ask questions or explain ideas to real people, the language never transitioned into a practical, real-world skill. Look at this 4-pillar architectural model showing reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Mistake 5 was wanting the result without the process. By focusing purely on speaking while ignoring the other 3 pillars, I created an imbalanced skill set that immediately falls apart. Mistake 6 was expecting to learn without an environment. I wanted to master English, yet the media on my phone, the content I watched, and everything I consumed in my free time was 100% in my native language. Mistake 7 taught me that even an immersive environment is fragile. If I listened to an English podcast one day and did nothing for the next 5, the immersion died. A good environment fails without a strict, non-negotiable daily routine. True fluency cannot survive in isolation. It demands a persistent, demanding ecosystem where you are forced to consume and produce the language every single day. This audio frequency graph illustrates mistake 8. Consumer headphones amplify heavy bass, creating thick waves masking delicate speech frequencies. Zooming in isolates the precise peaks where phonetic stress and linkages occur. If your hardware misses these, listening practice is useless. Mistake 9 was never testing myself. It is remarkably easy to read a grammar rule and feel a sudden false confidence that you have mastered the concept without actually applying it. The ultimate, undeniable test of true comprehension is physical. It is the act of sitting down with a friend, a neighbor, or a younger brother and attempting to explain that newly learned concept clearly out loud. If they only understand half of what you say, you have a gap in your delivery. Knowledge remains a complete illusion until you can successfully transfer it into another person's mind. So where am I now? I am not fluent. I still make mistakes, and there is a lot I do not know. But my baseline is different. Now I am actively aware of my blind spots, and I am correcting my own process in real time. My mindset has shifted. Instead of vaguely telling myself, I will learn English, I now analyze the process. How am I learning this right now? Identifying the mechanics of past failures is the mandatory first step. You have to find the specific errors in your old methods before any new knowledge can take root. I am not here to stand in front of you as a guru who knows everything. I am an experienced peer. I am sharing my mistakes so that you can spot them in your own life much earlier than I did. This animated diagram maps out the precise iterative loop that will guide us forward. You learn a concept, you use it in reality, you test it against another person, you gather their feedback, you correct your errors, and you restart the cycle. This is a shared pursuit of practical, real-world communication. I will learn, I will test, and I will share it here. This is our journey. This is Learn Exact English. Practical language skill requires a transparent, ongoing cycle of practice, feedback, and correction.
সহজভাবে শিখি স্বপ্ন করি সত্যি ইংলিশ ইউনিভার্সে ইংরেজি শেখা হবে এবার অনেক সহজ সত্যি